usually it involves the collateral, right? So if it is a collateral, is a polluting asset, well, after if the borrower is bankrupt later, that will be the person, that is the bank, need to pay this clean up cost for cleaning this polluting asset. All right. So this is a so-called lender liability risk. So this reputation risk or lender liability risk will be a direct cost for the bank by not doing green. Okay. So I encourage you guys, if you are interested in how bank or why bank care about the green, you can read the Chaba paper 2014. But that is indirect cost and direct, but this is more from the traditional viewpoint. Then recent literature actually more focus on other two emerging risk, or transition risk and the physical risk. So what would be the transition risk? Transition risk means the risk for transition toward to the green economy. Okay, so for example, now all the government and regulators, they all care about the climate change or global warming. So they like to or already have done some policy layer or regulation over there to regulate, for example, on the carbon tax or the cap and trade system. All right. So because of that, this is a transition toward to the green economy. Well, this is will cost some will induce some cost for the bank because of this transition risk. All right. When the bank is exposed to this transition risk. Okay. So that's why bank care about the green. Now another risk is about the physical risk, is easier to be understood. That, for example, well, we know that because of global warming, because of a higher level of the carbon emission, we have extreme weather, right? So this extreme weather actually damages the asset, which is used as a collateral for the bank, right? So when the value of the collateral reduced, or of course, as a result, there is a loss for from the company's viewpoint, right? So, but all these indirect cost or the recent literature pointing out the transition risk or physical risk, I would say all of them are more related to like a financial incentive or motivation to illustrate why bank care about the green. But here, well, I have mentioned several times, that is, in this project, we specifically what is a thing we specific extent is the green preference. Okay, so the green preference is a little bit is actually deviate from the financial motivation, which is about non-financial motivation. That is, bank themselves indeed have a preference for the green. Okay, so well, we are not the first one really want to look at the green preference. Well, our key paper is a Kapersek and Pedro. It's still a working paper in 2021. They also use exactly the same bank commitment event, which is the SBTI Science-Based Target Initiative event to capture the bank green commitment. And then, well, we call that is a true or green preference from the bank. So other than this financial motivation, we also can have the non-financial motivation from the bank to increase, to help the real economy to do more green innovation. Okay, so that's what we do. But I would say, of course, the financial motivation or non-financial innovation, they are definitely not mutually exclusive. Okay, in my mind, of course, the bank would care of that, right? But what we want to do is, because we need a shock and we want to extend, at least in this project, is the green preference from the bank. Okay, so some fact about the bank green awareness, or what I said is SBTI. So you can simply, if you are interested in that, you can simply Google it. You can see or for example, over here, this is the example for the SBTI. So let me talk about that first. Then, as I mentioned, the first wave or the first state that the bank can join this SBTI to show their green preference or green commitment, that will be the June 2015. So that is the Q2 2015. So in that first wave, we call that is the first wave, because after that we indeed see the coming waves, that is the more banks join this SBTI to show their bank commitment. So specifically, or for regarding to the first wave, that is the quarter 2 2015, we can see which you can see in this slide, we have like a red color marked the banks layer. So the ING Group, of course, is a very important, very big commercial bank that provide the loan. So we'll also have other banks over there, and that will be this. Then in our project, at least in this stage, or our project will consider this is the bank. They show their bank green commitment, all right, based on SBTi. But what I want to say, according to the fact about the increasing bank green awareness, all right. So not just about SBTi, bank can also, declare or to show their green awareness in several different places or platforms, right? So UN environmental principle will be the most important one, because this is for the financial sector. So this is the UN means the United Nations Environmental Proven Finance Initiative, all right? So we actually have more than 100 banks join this UN environmental principle to show their green commitment. Well, we also know that the financial sector, that the financial institutions also need to disclose the carbon or emission or climate related disclosure, okay, in TCFD or the carbon disclosure project. The bottom line I want to show you this slide is that indeed bank shows their green awareness in the recent years. Okay, so up to now, I hope you understand that already know that what is the main research question we like to examine this project is whether the bank can improve the green innovation, which is important, because by doing that we can get the better way to get the green transition. Okay, but the trickiest thing or the very challenging thing here in our project is to really identify the green trademark. Okay, because there is no such ready data over there to show this is a green trademark versus non-green trademark. So what we need to do, as I said, we need to go to the USPTO to collect all the trademark application, which is a lot, and then we need to look at the goods and service distribution based on the context over there. There's a text layer, and then we identify the green or non-green. Okay, so let me give you a first example, which you can see in this slide is a shoe over here. So this is the Nike, the shoe produced by the Nike, okay, in 2018. So this is the shoe that Nike claims that it is a shoe or that has the lowest carbon footprint of any of the footwear. Okay, so specifically the mark, because we are interested in the trademark, right? So the mark or the trademark for this shoe is not Nike, it's actually the Space Hippie. Okay, but of course the owner of this mark is Nike company. But for this kind of a product, this is a new line of the product for this shoe, or the trademark, the mark name, the mark word is the Space Hippie. All right, so if you go to a USPTO, there's the platform called TESS, TESS, is the trademark electricity search system. Go there and we can just simply type Space Hippie, and this is the information we can have. So we know the word mark is a Space Hippie, and then the goods and service distribution over here along with the NIST class there. And then we can also know the series number, the filing date, and also the registration date, and so on. The owner, of course, is the Nike. But what I want to draw your attention is really to look at the goods and service distribution, which I mark with the green box. So if you see there, well, you can see that we have a NIST class, well, that this trademark is registered or is applied in the class 25, and specifically the description says that this is a athletic footwear made primarily of a recycled material. So that's why the company claimed that this is a shoe that produces the lowest carbon footprint, because this is a shoe indeed made primarily by the recycled material. Okay, so according to this description, we understand, okay, of course, this is the green trademark, right? Because is about green. But well, actually, how many trademarks are there applied in the USPTO is actually a lot. It's pretty much from the in our data set is from the 1974 to 2020. We total have our data set contains more than 10 million trademark. Okay, so we definitely cannot really, by human beings to look at the distribution one by one by ourselves. So also we need a guidance, right? If one person may say, okay, recycled material can be classified as a green trademark, but other people may say this is not. So we need to have the kind of a criterion. Okay, that's what we call the green expressions. So we actually have 380 rules. You can consider it's like rules. Okay, and we call this is a 380 green expressions. Let me give you an example over here to illustrate why the space hippie, this trademark is classified as a green trademark. So according to this green expression, which is one of the rule over here in the bottom of this slide, you see, actually this is the 189 rule. Out of this, one of the rule of one of the rule green expression out of these 380. So this is just one of them. So you can see the criterion like this. Well, we need to have a recycle, but we cannot have a cost price included in the goods and service description. We cannot have the tires or animal or wrapping appear in the description. So the minus sign over there say no. Okay, plus sign says must be. Okay, so that's why according to this distribution over there, we can see the recycle. But this is not enough because we need to do, this is the original expression, and also this is provided by the survey paper. I'm going to show you later on in more detail, but to say we are not really create this green expression by ourselves. We actually rely on very credible survey study layer to show this is a credible rule for us to identify the green mark. But what I want to say is that it's not enough, because you see for the description over here, especially when we are doing the textual analysis, what we are really do, usually what we do is to do the stemming. That is, for example, recycle over here, if you see the right hand side, that will be the last E will be removed. Okay, so we'll do the stemming on the distribution, original distribution itself. We also do the stemming on the green expression to make sure that we can indeed to capture the green mark. So this is just an example I want to show you, from the human beings, from our human beings viewpoint, it should be a green mark. And according to our green expression rule, it's also classified as a green mark. Okay, but then I want to show you, well, as I said, well, we are not the first one to make the rule because it's actually difficult, right? How come we can say this is the rule that we can identify green, but always always other people say it is no. So it's pretty much very kind of a judgment that we do not have the very kind of a convinced way to say everyone agree on. So what we can do, well, the best we can do is we actually found this survey paper, or I shouldn't say survey, it's a paper or the study from the EU IPO, which is a European IPO, which is the European Intellectual Property Office. So in 2000, and it's a very recent year, which is just last year, or we found out this EU IPO study, and then in this study. These studies indeed provide this kind of a for the first step, they use the expert, environmental expert, also the machine learning algorithm, and then they identify 904 green turns, and then with that 904 green turns will narrow down or reduce to the 375 green expressions, like one of the expression I just showed you. But we have a 380, which is 5 more additionally. That's because we want to deal. We notice that actually there's a British and American English difference, so we add 5 more, but it's not really different, so we basically rely on that. So let me talk about the turn. Well, what will be the turn level? So as I show you as a space Hebe trademark, every time when we want to file for the trademark, first of all, we need to classify, well, the class. Okay, that is so-called NIST class. So we have a NIST class along with the distribution. Okay, so like the space heap is class 25. Here we have the green turn, for example. That turn is the basic data unit, or is a combination of the NIST class and the turn. So the turn is the one of the phrase, a few words together means a phrase. Well, that's divided. That is how come we can identify the turn level. It's because, you know, if you look at the distribution, goods and service distribution, there's like a deviation based on the semicolon. So for all these semicolon, we can have the turn. Okay. Then, for example, or we have like a one of the green turn could be like a trademark apply in a NIST class 9 and along with the solar panels. And then we claim, or these papers, these studies say that this is the green turn. Another example will be the NIST class 9 and together with the carbon dioxide monitor. Okay, so this is the 2 examples for the green turns. But I want to point out in this slide to show you that the class or the NIST class is indeed important, because, for example, over here, if you see the middle, in the middle, that box say that, okay, we have a carbon monitor. So if this is carbon monitor over here, carbon monitor, and this is the trademark applied in the NIST class 9, that should be classified as a green. However, for the carbon monitor, ranges or applied in the class 10 over here, minus 10 means class 10. 10 means this number indicated the class. Okay, class 10 in this class scheme, that is about the medical device. So if there's a medical device and the trademark apply or in that class 10 medical class, and the distribution include the carbon monitor, this kind of trademark should not be classified as a green trademark, because, you know, medical device usually, you know, carbon monitor used as the medical device is not green, right? So that's the point why the class information is also important. That's why this green turn is also important, and that's why I like this study. This is by far, I believe, this is the most credible. You can, if you want, it's like a green dictionary. Okay, so that's why, because we have the very I like to use that example is because I want to show you indeed, or we have informations that include the class, also the distribution together. It gives us the better way, more credible way to identify the mark. So pretty much I have talked about the very important thing from that EU IPO study, and we use that to be our green dictionary, right? We have a 380 green expressions, as I show you. So I want to skip some of them, some of the slide up here, to say, indeed, we have that 380 green expressions, and we use that expression, green expression for us to identify green mark. And this is just an example about the green expression over here. But what I want to say is, if you are interested in the green trademark, you can go Google that EU IPO study. Will be the very best first step for us to understand the green trademark. Okay, then want to show you some example about the other classified green marks in our study, which, you know, Tesla is also the green mark. Why? Because, you know, Tesla, you know, the Tesla is the electronic car, right? So this is the Tesla is the mark, but also of course the owner is also Tesla. Then the mark is Tesla. And if we look at again the green box over here, that gives us a green description for the goods and service distribution over here. We can find out later we have the solar energy. So that's why according to the 380 green expressions, we classify that that this Tesla mark is a green trademark. And also we can simply by human beings to just eyeball the distribution over here is indeed, likely it is a green mark. Tesla also filed for other marks, and we also classify as a green mark, like this is Megapack, and General Motor Company, or recently they have this kind of Volt EV. Again, it's like about electronic automobiles. Okay, so what I want to say is that these marks are classified as a green marks in our data set, and indeed by human beings, it is a by human beings judgment is a green mark. So the bottom line is I want to say I truly believe that the 380 green expression by far is in my understanding is the best green dictionary for us to identify green activity. So that's how we do that. But I want to say, well, actually, the professor you mentioned in the very beginning of this presentation, we indeed spend a lot of time to create this data set, because, as I said, that the trademark is a lot. So let me walk you through our data set construction process. So first of all, we need to go to a USPTO to download all the trademark from the very first time. So actually, the very first time the first trademark appeared in the USPTO is pretty much a very long time ago. It's about 1884 year 1884. So very long time ago. We go there to download the case file. Then we have to break down the goods and service, that description, into the turn level, which I said is divided based on the semicolon. So then we need to keep the terms that has this international class, means the NIST class. We have a 45 different NIST class, and then we have because of NIST class is only disclosed after 1973. We do that, so that's our starting year. After that, we have trademark, and we, like I said, we pretty much at the trademark turn level data set. We have pretty much around 10 million unique trademark, and on average, each trademark has 5 turns. That's why you see we'll have a very huge data set. Okay, and then what we do next is that trademark can be registered, can be filed for different entities or people. So we can have an individual like us to file for to apply for a trademark. We can do that, of course. Then the public firms or the private firm can also apply for the trademark. So first of all, we just exclude this individual applied trademark. We keep the public firm, private firm trademark, and then we furthermore, we only keep the firm that is incorporated in USA, because we care about the USA company. And then we only look at the public firm because we need the financial information for our further empirical study. Okay, then we match this USPTO trademark to a compute-state data set, which leave us only the public firm. So at the end, our final data set has around 1 million unique trademark, but still 1 million unique trademark is still a lot, right? So this is the way we create our data set. So as I said, we have turn level first, and the nice thing to use this UIPO study is because not only we can classify this is the green trademark or not, or green turn or non-green turn. Actually, that study, UIPO study, also classify the green into 9 different groups, so we can have the better understanding regarding to which group you will see it down. But we have 9 groups and 35 categories. Let me see. Oh yeah, later on you will see that. But anyway, we have a more comprehensive understanding about our green mark, not just indicator 0 or 1. We have more. You will see that on. Then we'll say, we understand on average a trademark can contain 5 turns, right? So our way is that as long as there's one of the turns classified as a green turn, then we say this is a green trademark. Then we even aggregate the trademark level to the firm year level. That is, we know a firm can file for a multiple trademark in a year. So if it's in any given year that firm file for a one green trademark, then we say that is a firm year level indicate one as a green. Okay, then because as I said, we like to study whether the bank green commitment would affect the real green innovation. Specifically, we look at SBTI. So that date is 2015 Q2. So we'll, because of to the purpose of our empirical setting, we actually see the 7-quarter window surrounding in this quarter. All right. So we'll even aggregate the firm year level data to the firm quarter level data. All right. So this is the way we have our data set. Then let me show you some facts about the green mark. So this is the diagram where we plot the proportion of the green mark relative to the total number of the trademark. Okay, so the blue line over here to show the total number of the trademark, and then you can see the right hand side scale. So of course, you know, we have more companies, we have more individuals, so naturally we can see the number of the trademark increase dramatically since the first year 1974 to the very recent year 2020, the end year of our data set. So of course that we have the upward slope trend for the green for the blue line. But more importantly, if we look at the green line, we see we'll even have the very the increasing trend is even larger during the period, and this is the proportion of the trademark. So it indicates that, you know, proportion increasing, also the total number of trademark increasing, but it means that the number the increasing magnitude from the number of the green mark must be larger, right? So anyway, I want to point out in this diagram, we indeed can see more and more people care about green. That's why we have a more higher proportion of the green trademarks here. And then that's something I said, we rely on that 300 we rely on that green expressions for us to identify trademark. One of the very, very important advantage is that we actually can classify the green terms into 9 different groups. Well, in this slide, you can see the right-hand side may be better, or that is a pie chart, right? So we can see according to our data set, well, we have a trademark level. Then we can classify the 9 green groups. So for example, we have energy conservation group, energy production group, pollution control group, climate change, environmental awareness, reusable, transportation, agriculture, and waste management. So what will be the most important green trademark? Well, that group is like energy conservation, which takes about pretty much about 21% of the total green terms or green marks. Then followed by the energy production, pretty much about 20%, followed by the pollution control 70%, right? So it gives us a better or more comprehensive understanding about the green marks in the market. Okay, so this is pretty much about product, green product. So what will be, so we know that according to this pie chart, energy conservation is the most important one, and then energy production, right? So we also have like within each group, we can even classify category. Okay, so we have in total 9 groups, and then we have furthermore, we have like 35 green categories. Then I pointed out the top 1 and top 2 and top 3 category we have that that represent the largest proportion of the green trademark in our data set. So if we look at the top 1, we can see the group is energy conservation, and the category is the storage of electricity. Okay, so I mean this will be the number 1 green mark. That is about the storage of electricity. And top 2 is a solar energy, also into is in a group of energy production. And top 3 were environmental service. Okay, so we understand now pretty much is energy conservation, energy production will be very important green technology, okay, which sort of makes sense because everybody now really care about the climate change, where we know the source of leading this climate change is because carbon emission. So in order to reduce the carbon emission, we need to have the more efficient or reusable energy, right? That is, we should stop using fossil fuel. So this is energy conservation, energy production, climate change, or can on top to show indeed this is the important green technology. So this is something I like, this 380 green expression. And if you read the other green innovation related papers, pretty much they don't do that. They can only what they have done is pretty much just simply classify innovation is green or not. So they do not have this kind of a detailed information which we have. That's why we like to, or at least in my mind, I like to use this in more several projects later on. And specifically, I do believe the group or classification important. That's why I also make this trademark group data set. Well, that's a detail, but let me show you this diagram first. So we have the pie chart, but now we have this diagram to plot the time series trend of these green marks among these 9 groups. So we can see clearly that pretty much all the in terms of a number of the green trademark on each group, pretty much all the number of the green trademark increase on each group, right? But what will be the most remarkable observation over here? We can see the yellow color over here. That is about energy conservation, right? So according to this time series chart, we know that energy conservation, especially for the recent decade, we see it received the more attention. As a result, we can see the real economy indeed produce more green innovations that is associated with energy conservation. Is also again echoes what we said. People indeed care climate change. And then what else? The previous slide showed us the total number of the green mark, but here I show you the proportion of the green mark to total green mark. So among these 9 groups, I mean, this can give us a better picture to say the relative position, right? Relative position of the importance as a green mark to the total green mark. That's what's my intention to create this time series chart. So I'm sorry about the color, but again, if you look at the color over here, well, you can see the blue, which is light blue color over here, increase dramatically, especially for the recent decade over here. You can see the very a huge increase over there. So the color is different, sorry, but this is again is energy conservation and followed by energy production. So I would like to say, especially for the recent decade, well, climate change is the most important issue when it comes to the green. All right. Furthermore, as I said, we need to kind of have the financial information for the company, so we can only limit our data set to the public firm. Then this is the CompuState USPTO, which is a public firm data set. Then we can see the blue line again stands for the total number of trademark, but the interesting finding over here, or interesting observation, which is different from the total number of the trademark by all the different kinds of people there, private firm, public firm, or individual. If we limit our data set to the public firm only, we can see after 2000, well, total number of the trademark actually decreased, right? But one thing remains, that is the proportion of the green trademark still increased a lot, especially in the recent decade. So that's why I like my project, and that's why I started my project 1.5 ago, because I do believe that people are caring about the green innovation. We should you know, as a result, see the more green innovation already. So that's the fact we have, and which pretty much I was happy to see that. And then that's how I can proceed my project. Anyway, so let's go. Or in terms of the proportion of the green mark to the total mark, actually it's not a lot. So if we simply just give some stats, summary statistics over here, well, we have a, you know, if we are looking at all the trademark applied by the public firm, actually there's only 2.47% of the green trademark to the total trademark. So it's not a lot. But what else, what we can do, we understand that, you know, not all the companies file for the trademark. Okay, so now but we want to give a fair comparison. That is, we only look at the firm that has ever filed for the trademark. So which means that the well, because of this data filter, after that we can have the firms, or they are similar in terms of the at least one dimension. That is, they have at least one trademark in that year. Okay, so that's what we do. We would like to have the fair comparison among the companies. Then that's why we have this table over here. Pretty much is that this is also another thing I want to point out. It is already aggregate to the firm year level, which we have the year from 1980 to 2017, and this is the firm year observation data set. So the first column says represent the number, that is the number of the firm year observation with green mark. Then the column along with the second column over here, it is the firm year observation with any trademark. Okay, so we simply compute the proportion of that the firm year green trademark observation to the firm year any trademark observation. The proportion actually is large. So for together we can see, or that is about 10.27% of the firm year observation in which that firm has at least one green trademark. So then it gives us the fact that if we look at this firm year observation data set, or actually, or at least we can see, according to the stats over here, there's a pretty much about 10% of the firm in a year that has at least one green mark. So which shows that well, indeed, the green mark there is not rare. It's not rare activity, right? Or it's actually many people have done the green mark now. So furthermore, what we can do, we can make some stats based on this firm year data set by industry. So this is a Pharma French 12 industry classification. Well, one industry can top with the largest proportion of the green trademark. That will be the utility industry, and then followed by the chemical aligned product industry, then oil, gas, coal, extraction product industry. So which again makes sense, and it is reasonable because we understand that the utility or chemical or the oil, gas, these kind of industry, actually they are brown, right? If you think about it, utility or oil, they actually the industry in which the company located in these industries, they produce more carbon emission. So that's actually also echo to one of the very recent paper by Cohen and other co-authors, or the very recent working paper there, to show actually who produced more green technology. Or in their paper, they only look at the green pattern. But what they show is indeed, well, the brown industries create more the green innovation. Okay, so our fact is based on the green trademark, not on the green pattern, but we actually have a consistent evidence to say, indeed, is a brown industry creates more green innovation. So, well, next I'd like to use maybe 10 minutes. Then we'll finish up today's presentation. But I will use the next 10 minutes to talk about the evidence, empirical evidence. How come whether, or not how come, whether the green bank green commitment would affect the green mark activity, all right, in the real economy. So specifically, we use SBTI as our bank green commitment shock in 2015 Q2. So we put basically in our empirical setting is that we have the 3 quarters before and after surround in this shock quarter. So we call this a 7-quarter window triple difference in difference method or empirical setting. Okay, and then well. Also, what I want to say is that, well, our data actually will rely on 5 major different data sources. I have pointed out the USPTO for the trademark data, CompuState is for the financial information for the public funds in USA. We also need the capital IQ because we need to know exactly the bank debt possessed by each company. So that detailed debt information can only be provided by the Capital IQ database. We also need to know which firm would be affected by the SBTI bank, right? So we need to, and how come we can do that to identify our affected firm? We rely on the borrowing or lending borrowing relationship before the shock. So or in order to have that kind of information, we need to use a DealScan database. And then, or furthermore, if you kind of recall, we say we have a triple difference, that the final difference among the firms, that will be, well, we need to classify the high emission firms versus low emission firm. So the emission means the air pollution emission. This is the best we can have. We do not have the detailed information regarding the carbon emission, but we do have the data from EPA to give us information that is about air pollution emission. Okay, so we all these 5 different data sources. We need to do, what we need to do is really, to merge all these 5 data set. All these 5 data sources, and then to one data set, right? And then we have some detailed information, but let me go. Here is the first wave of SBTI, which is this is something I showed you before. Just say not just one bank, we have actually a number of the group that commit to green based on SBTI at the same time. Okay, and then follow up, we have some of subsequent or follow-up waves after the first wave. But we feel that at this stage for this project, though, for the first wave of SBTI will be the most clean shock to show the bank green commitment. So that's what we do. Then this is our triple difference regression. So the y over here equal to something over here, right? We have a set of the variables in the right hand side. Then of course the y dependent variable is our outcome variable. As I said, first of all, I will show you is the bank debt, if this shock is a relevant shock or not. Then, well, if this is a relevant shock, that is good news to us. And then next we'll like to examine, according to this regression, we'll simply replace that y with a green mark to show if the bank commitment indeed affect whether the bank green commitment affect the green mark in the real economy or not. So I don't want to give you a detail in this regression, but just know, as far as I know, I believe this is a very robust regression because we control many things over here. But I want to draw your attention to one main independent variable that is highlighted with the red color here. So that is our triple difference variable, post, committed, high emission. Okay, so post is all of this is interaction variable, which we have 3 indicators there. Well, all of the 3 indicators, they are like indicator. So it's a dummy variable. Okay, so post is 0 or 1 variable. Committed is also 0, 1 variable. High emission is also the 0, 1 variable. But just know post is after shock. Committed is whether bank is joined SBTI or not. High and the firm need to be affected by that bank. Means that before the shock, they have some lending relationship. So then, of course, then only for that, those firms can be affected by SBTI bank. Then SBTI bank would to reallocate the money or the fund from the high emission firm to low emission firm. So that's why we have this empirical setting. Then this is the outcome variable. Let me show you quickly about the result. So first of all, the very important thing is we need to verify if the shock is a relevant shock or not. So outcome variable is a loan bank debt. Okay, so we'll see the red color over here. Indeed, for our triple difference variable, interaction variable over here, we can see the negative sign with the 5% significant level, right? That is, or negative sign means that indeed, or for these affected firm, their bank debt level reduced, which means that the bank indeed pull out or reallocate the fund from the this high emission fund, means the brown funds, to the green funds. Also, it's validated with the first variable over there, which is post and committed. No high emission means the low emission, right? So the low emission fund also affected by the bank after the shock. Actually, you can see the bank debt increase. Okay, the second column over here, model 2 or column 2 over here, say no significant finding about non-bank debt. So indeed, the level of the bank debt changed after the shock. Specifically, bank reallocate the money from the brown firms to the green firms. And we plot this figure that is show you, is that 3 quarters before the shock and 3 quarters after the shock. We want to say before the shock, we don't see the significant change regarding to the bank debt, right? But after the shock, we indeed see the bank debt reduced significantly for the affected firm, and the firm has a high carbon emission. So we'll just show you this is a parallel trend assumption, or we verify that our shock is a credible shock. Okay. Furthermore, this is the most important empirical results in our project. That is, well, we want to know. Okay, now we all know that indeed that the bank will, reallocate the fund from the brown firms to green firms. But as we said, theoretical. In terms of a theoretical argument, we actually don't know that. Could be that the bank, the firm indeed want to have the cheaper loan, or want to have the easy access to the bank loan, so they need to do the more innovation, right? That will be the positive sign. However, there may be a negative effect. That will be the firm simply just lack of the money to do the green innovations because of this because of the financial constraint, but also because maybe there's just no effect. So, well, this is an empirical question. So, and then we see our result here to show, well, we have a column 3 and column 4 here. Well, I is the indicator variable, or log is the logarithm of the number of the green trademark. Column 3 is the I is indicator of the green firm or not on that year. Okay, so it's a little bit different. But what we can see is that we can only see the significant positive effect for the affected firm to do more green mark, right, in terms of number. And then we also see some weak evidence to show non-green trademark is reduced, right? So overall, again, also we plot this figure to show, again, there's no before the shock, there's no difference between the two affected firm or unaffected firm, but after the shock, indeed affected firm increase their green mark. also as an indicator variable or the number of the green mark, right? And then we don't see a very significant evidence regarding to non-green trademark or the number of the non-green trademark. So that will be the last page. Well, what we want to say in this project at this stage, we say, well, we find that the bank with the green commitment would affect the green innovation via the green reallocation from a high or greenhouse emission firm to the low greenhouse emission firm, which incentivize the high greenhouse emission firm to produce the green product or service. All right, so that's what we find, and this should be the good news for the policymaker, right? Then one more thing I want to point out is that, well, as I said, or actually it's the brown firms or the high greenhouse emission firms, they are the ones that primarily produce or make the green innovation. So, well, that's important. That's give us a very important policy implication to say, well, the regulations or the government may need or may be necessary to increase the green awareness from the bank, and as a result, according to our empirical evidence, to show indeed we can have more green innovations by these brown firms. All right, so that will be all. Any questions?
Nice. Thank you, Wenqian, for your nice presentation. It's a very good paper. Can I have some preliminary question?
Sure.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay. Can you go back to the slide? There have a triple interaction.
Here?
Another one. Outcome on bank debt supply.
Will be the very
outcome on bank debt supply.
Yeah. Here, I believe.
No, there's a result here.
Oh, you want a result? Yeah.
This page.
Here.
Outcome on, yeah, I think it's right. There's a triple interaction, post commit, and high emission, right?
Yes.
And this is a significantly negative to log bank debt. Okay. And in this model, you control firm control. Why you control firm control also control firm's fixed effect? Why you have to control two? Already have firm fixed effect, and you have a firm control, right? If you control firm fixed effect, that's enough, isn't it? Or something more. Did you have a more additional?
Yeah, that's not. It's not. Firm fixed effect indicate the unobserved firm unobserved firm characteristic that does not change across the years, right? Which is unobserved. Okay, so and also this is we call it fixed effect. It's the fixed, so it does not change across years. Okay, but firm control is different. The firm control is or specifically in here we control for the total asset. The other one is the excess return prior to the shock. So that is not fixed. It's not fixed.
But you already control year fixed effect, right?
Yeah, that's the year fixed effect.
We usually control firm's fixed effect, year fixed effect, SIC code fixed effect, and in that way, we usually doesn't need to control firm's control.
We don't.
You already had a time series and a cross section, right? Time series and the cross section. You already control the panel. Yeah, I just wonder because you might not be affected, significantly, but I just wonder whether it is the reason that your adjusted R-square is that high. In model 2, there is almost 100%. So something might have to be checked it again because we usually will not get that high.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one concern. And the next page, the triple, another one, next page. Yeah, the same idea about the triple interaction, right? I'm not totally understand because if the post interacted with committed and interacted, why it have to be a high emission? Even though the firm is low emission, it probably might change as well because it is still have the pollution or carbon emission to the world, to the economics. So it may make more efforts for any one firm, not just high emission. High emission firm may have stronger motivation. However, I think all firms may have the motivation, to be more clean, to be more aligned with the shareholders' activism. Because even though they are low emission, they still have to match in the shareholder or stakeholders' activism. They would like to see their company being more green rather than brown. So for any kind of firms, it might be affected. So I just wondering why you have to focus on high emission. High emission may be mandatory to be done that. But however, if it is incentive, I think it should cover all of the firms.
We are here is to talking about the bank from the bank side, right? How come the bank can affect the firms, right? Following firms. So the total effect will be like you said, or if we don't discriminate the high emission firm from the low emission firm, the total effect will be the summation of these two variables, right? The first variable and the third variable. Am I right? Like, the total effect. We don't talk about if we just ignore the difference of the high emission firm or low emission firm. So the total effect will be the effect purely from the bank commitment and then affected firm. Then how come for a low emission firm, or how come for average firm to be respond to this the bank shock? They don't have to respond, right? Theoretically, if they are on average, these firms do not have to respond anything to the bank on average, right? That's my understanding. So that's why we need to look at the high emission firm. And also, well, the green, because we are talking about the green bank. Green bank if they really show their true green commitment, what the bank would do is indeed to reduce the fund to the or the money to the brown firms, not for non-brown firms.
Yeah, but I still, wondering because if it's a high carbon emission firms, that focus on this group, is that possible that all of these firms can be separated into like a separate bucket, like 5 buckets or 10 buckets? Because emission is amounts of the tons of amount of the carbon. So that will be more continuously, to see the results. Because I think all the firms might have the motivation. Yeah, might have the motivation.
Yeah, sure. It's a good idea. Yeah, it's a good suggestion. Yeah.
And, another one is like your window is 7 period, right?
Yes.
So this is the post and the pre. So only look at the 7 period or the whole period.
Yeah, the reason is we use the 7 quarters, which include the shock quarter, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's because we stop in a quarter. I mean, the last quarter is the 2016 quarter 1. Is because we have another very big second wave occurred in the 2016 quarter 2.
Yeah.
So that's why we say, okay, that wave we'll consider, well, at least it might, at this stage, we feel this will be the most clean way to say, indeed, it's because of bank green commitment. So after that, if we're a second wave, well, there may be some noise over there.
So 2015 Q2 to 2016 Q1 will be given a 1, and before that another 3 will be given a 0. Is that right?
Yes. You mean the post?
Okay. Yeah, the post.
Yeah.
Yeah. But your time period is from 2011 to 2016. The whole sample.
Well, we need to use the data back to the 2011 because we need to pin down the prior to the shock, the bank lending relationship.
Yeah. So the whole period is from 2011 to 2016, right? 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if your time period covers like 6 years, and the post only measure for like
no. But when
4
we do the
quarters.
regression, over here when we run the regression, this triple difference regression only uses this 7 quarter data.
Yeah. But But why not? Like a previous cover the whole period from like 2011.
Typically, when we set up this difference method, right? It's like a balance period, prior and post shock. That's what we typically.
Yeah, but why you have to do that? You can have a longer time for the previous, and a shorter time for the post. It's very usual.
Okay.
I saw a lot of paper measured like this way because the event happened just very late.
Oh, all right, we can try. But I cannot think of any economic reason behind of that, right? If I believe this will be, the thing is we compare, right? We do comparison regarding to the outcome variable for the prior and post. So I would say if we have a longer period in the for the prior shock, longer period, I don't know if I think it will involve more noise there. So that's why, well, in my mind, I would say I would rather to use this, but maybe, but I'd like to think about it more. It's also a good suggestion. But if I want to expand or extend the longer period prior shock, I need the economic reason behind that. That's my understanding.
Yeah, but if it is not an event study, you can have your, decision to measure a longer time before that, because it's contain a lot of information, because it
Yeah,
can mention
yeah,
your
yeah,
patterns, right?
yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah,
Totally agree.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is
To
not an
make
event.
the response that
Yeah.
takes the time to to
What?
really have a real response. Yeah, I
Oh,
understand. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And another one is that's interesting, because you have some information category like this group. I
Mm-hmm.
group, you have like this one.
Like this.
Yeah.
And this group, and this is the maybe this is the better
By
table
group, by group, like
by group here.
by group, 9 green groups. This page.
By group. This one.
Did you see my? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not good at this, but you separate the green trademark into 9 category, right? Um, you know, I don't think I'm not so sure that, because you don't control this. You did not control all of like a category or 9 or more than 9. And also you control like sectors, industrial, fixed effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
so
that's
my
right.
idea is, if you control like the industrial fixed effect, why don't you category this green trademark into a several group basis on like industrial or sectors, because you can put it in your model later.
Yeah, we can do that later. That's why so far that we don't use really a group level data. Our data, in a well, we use the data we use for the regression analysis later.
Mm-hmm.
The final part, that is purely the first year level data. So it's not group level.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So yeah, that you point out a very good point, is that, well, this is something I really want to use, right? Because we actually have a detailed data set like this. We actually can have group level data. Then we can do more. And then if we indeed use this group level data to some interesting analysis later, we need to control for the group, maybe.
Yeah, let me explain my idea, because if from the reader's viewpoint, I
Mm.
might be interested in knowing that, like what's the percentage of the green mark from like energy, industrial, and what's the percentage of the green mark from like uh, material industry or consumer industrials, or from um, like a financial services industry, anyone, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
because we will guess maybe like utility or the brown industry may have more motivation to innovate the trademark, uh,
Mm.
which is green.
Mm.
So we can make sure that whether the sector factors is
Mm.
also very influential
Mm-hmm.
on the firms to foster their innovation.
Yeah.
So this is a very good information for us to know the category, but the same shape, the pie shape,
Mm-hmm.
can be converted to another one like a sector basis.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Okay. Yeah, very good suggestion. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
but by far, just we know, we look at the front level, right? The
yeah.
front level green activity. in order to do that, I would say or group level, yeah, or industrial level.
Industrial level, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also there is an interesting graph on your paper here. Did you see that? I'm not sure which page.
This one?
The title is USPTO Green Trademark Data for all owners.
Oh, see the first one.
Over. Yeah, here, right. You mentioned that in your empirical studies from the public firms because
Yes.
they have a financial statement.
Mm.
Yeah, but this graph is for the all owners, right? Including individuals, you already deleted that, and private firms, you already removed that, and public firm, you already put in your study. If this is your study only using the public firm, why this graph is using all owners?
Oh, just want to show you the overall picture about the green mark.
Yeah, but did you have data? Did you have the data just for the public firm because it's matching your?
No. Actually, through this well, in our project, we'll do more, right? But then this is one of the
the public firm have the same pattern as the all firms. Are they similar?
I think so. Actually, the private firm apply more green marks.
Okay, more significant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Also the trademark. Yeah. That's why I don't want to throw this important information away, important data away. I know because of the because we want the financial information for the public firm, so they leave us the only choice that is to just look at the public firm. But we really want to do other projects that we specifically look at private firms.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, you are doing the triple interactions, but I just wondering, like, something like endogeneity problems.
Okay.
Maybe appear in the model too. For example, I'm not so sure, but I just wonder, maybe you assume that this is a post, or this is a committed, it's a SBTI. And why? So you assume that the committed is exogenous, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other, like, also maybe exogenous, but have something might belong to endogeneity problem in your model. Huh?
Yeah.
Why we cannot see any construct from your paper? Yeah.
It's always hard to verify, right? If this is exogenous or not. If it means that exogenous means the bank green commitment itself maybe endogenously
maybe
to lend more, right, to the firms.
Yeah, but your paper assume all of this are exogenous, right?
Yeah.
So if this is endogenous, how would you think that it's possible that it may be an endogeneity problem? Because something happened that the bank have to be committed, or
have to be committed. Okay. And then there's some unobserved factors that affect the commitment and also the bank debt, right?
Yeah.
What I want to say is this is not, well, we are not the first one to use this shock. Okay. Well, that's why I point out that Kapersek and Pedro, that paper. So we actually follow this and because they found that paper, but they are doing what they are doing in their paper is the international study. It's not US. It's not focused on the USA. Also, one thing I can say, I think it's well, the concern to be this kind of endogeneity concern will be actually is not likely. It's because you know the bank over here is they are foreign banks. So for the first wave, what that's my argument. That will be, well, the shock over here, well, that is the quarter is the 2015 quarter two. So the bank joined this SBTI. All of them are foreign banks. So their decision to commit more to green will likely they affected by outside, right, outside of USA. So well, that's something I believe is more credible to say this foreign bank committed to green and influence the US based companies there. So that would be one reason I feel, well, this endogeneity concern should be less likely. One of the reasons, yeah. But I totally agree. But I have to say it's really difficult to rule out completely about this endogenous issue.
Yeah, you know, the outcome like a banded supply. I really like this equation. You know, I like this equation more than the second one.
All right, but just validation.
Because
this is just a validation.
Because the green innovation being a dependent variables, triple interactions. You know, because I just wondering, you know, if this is a bank commit, but will affect the firm's green innovations. That's far away. But bank can affect their debt structure because this is my decision making. So this is more, you know, more straightforward. We can accept this model, which is perfect. But as for the second equation, to the log of the green trademark.
No, I totally agree with your point. Oh, this bank debt analysis over here is for the purpose of a validation, right? We want to see if this shock is relevant or not. If we don't see this result is out, means the bank would never affect the firms, right? So this is something we need to do first. Very important, and very important analysis. And we find out indeed the bank would reallocate the fund from the brown firms to green firms. And then next, well, I totally agree with you, is that it's not really far away in my mind about the green innovation. We understand, well, once we have this the bank debt reallocation, then what will be the outcome next for the real investment or real activity? So in terms of the real activities layer, or what the borrowing firms could respond. It doesn't have to be innovation, right? It doesn't have to be related to the green innovation, but with other kind of business activities. I understand. I totally agree. But it could. It's also the possibility layer that some firm, they basically is like one thing we can do. Basically, this kind of firm is very innovative firms. They pretty much their major, or business is to pretty much really associated with the innovation, right? For this kind of firm, well, they must respond the bank debt reallocation. So likely for this kind of more likely for this kind of firm, not just for any kind of any type of the investment, but the most affected activity will be on innovation. So, but there's also a good suggestion that I can do. Yeah, if I can simply separate the two groups with one is the more innovative firm, or the other one is less innovative firm, then I should see or this kind of a response to this bank shock should be more pronounced for the innovative group. But I totally agree with you. Like that's why I said we can also do is like we can also test as an outcome variable. Well, that will be the general investment. Whether this bank green commitment would affect the general investment or not. Yeah.
Yeah. Another minor is you know, we usually will use the like the innovative efficiency measured by the output divided by the input. But in this paper, you only measure the output, right?
Yeah.
So have you ever think that you might be able to put the efficiency in the model in the future?
Yeah, sure. We can do. Yeah.
Yeah. And where did you get the data from, like the TCFD?
TCFD, we haven't have that data yet. TCFD?
Yeah, the task force, yeah,
carbon
climate
disclosure.
related, yeah.
We
It's a capital IQ or where?
No, we haven't have this data. I just simply point out, want to point out that we'll have this trend, increasing trend of the bank green awareness because they can show their green commitment with these different places.
But did you know where can we get that TCFD?
We can. I think we can.
Which database have you idea about?
I think it's not database. It's the public information.
Okay.
I think I was trying to do something about that. Then there was a sound like a materiality thing there. Well,
okay.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a public information. Yeah. It's not database. Also, the UN environmental principle there is pretty much is a website. We can also why I have done that. Yeah. Because before I want to the bank green commitment from there, but there are some issues.
Yeah, nice. Nice. Questions， 同学们？
你们也可以讲中文，对。
哦，那么好。同学们，questions， yeah，你们都可以讲。我看一下 chat box， 我看一下。
好像没有人讲，
同学们，你们有没有问题？他们有问题，他们说有问题。
有吗？
有。哎，同学 ，Group number 1。
我想问，就是在 PPT 第49页，
好
columns 5 and 6，就是画红线的那个，可以
49页
讲对
PPT 49页
它下面的页数写49。
你是用我的旧版本吗？
哦，对，它上面写 outcomes on green marks
是42。
OK， 这个吗？
对。然后第5个结果跟第6个那边，它是那个显著只有1颗星，是指这2个来做比较，然后没有很大的关联嘛？
对，你问得很好。我们本来想要看到负的很显著，就是 non-green trademark， 它会做比较少的 non-green trademark。我必须 honest 的说，现在这个 result 不是最好的 result， 我们还没有说，所以我们这个 project 从9月我就一直拖到现在都还没有新的 result。对，就是 this is what the best I can have。Yeah， 我们希望看到负显著了。
好，谢谢。
Group number 3 or group number 2? 同学他好像有打字，看
有吗？
一下
我好像都没有看到 chat box 有任何的东西。
The group of green trademark category was mentioned. Do have information about which country is the
Oh.
most of green trademark category concentrated in. 这是一个同学问的 group number 4.
Good question. Good question. I would say 这个什么 trademark? In our project so far we look at the we focus on the US trademark. Okay. So and also we limit our trademark to the owner, which must be incorporated in USA. In terms of international trademark, well, you want to know the fact. I would say you can. That's why I point out this slide, which is the EU IPO study I said. So this study actually used the European green trademark as the data. Okay. And what really they are showing in this study is that the trademark owner can be international. So but I remember in this study they give the some fact about which country apply the EU trademark. It's an EU trademark, but the owner can be the owner from different countries. Okay, but this is also a good point in terms of the trademark. If this is an international company and the international company want to do the business with this legal protection in Europe, that is if the company want to sell the product in Europe with this legal protection by the trademark, right? They need to file for the trademark in EU IPO. That's the point. So if we look at all the trademark, that can be show us, like this study said, showed that if you see that, you can see, I believe that the most number one country to file for the green trademark is China. I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, possible, but I have to say it's like a EU trademark. So it's an EU trademark. It's just the owner can be international. But why? How come? Yeah, that's why I say I strongly suggest you guys, if you are interested in the trademark, also specifically about the green trademark, this will be the first paper. It's not academic paper itself, but it's a nice paper to show us the fact right now. But what I want to say is because we want to see, our people, our main research question still want to know the bank shock, right? How come the bank shock would affect the green innovation in the real economy? So, and in order to have this robust empirical setting, we need financial data in USA. That's why, again, we limit our data set to the owners that has to be incorporated in USA. But again, in terms of a USPTO trademark, as long as the company want to sell the product in USA, these international company also need to file for the trademark in USPTO, right? Just just want to point out that. But yeah, the follow-up by Germany, I think, if I remember correctly, is the China will be the number one, and followed by Germany. Yeah.
Nice. Group number 3.
我们想要问就是，前面有提到就是有参加 SBTI 的银行和就是我们比较常看到就是有写说参与一般绿色行动的银行有什么差别？
绿色行动的银行，哪些银行是参加绿色行动啊？他们在哪个地方 commit 说，或 declare 说他们参加了那些绿色行动，你知道吗？我可以这样回答，这是其中一个 commitment 而已，就是 就是像今天这家银行 ING Group， 它其实在各种地方它都会说它在做 green。这个 SBTI 只是其中一个，所以它只是一个我有回答你的问题吗？
所以他是要去签署一个特别的东西。
这个是一个机构，然后就我的了解是这样的，这是一个机构，然后它是属于 science-based target， 所以其实你细看那个 data 的时候，它会说到 target 是什么，就是这个银行他说他在做，他给这个 green commitment 的 target 是什么，比如说他会希望做到他要借多少钱，就是降低多少 green carbon emission 这种几吨，他要讲，因为他这个 science-based target initiative， 那这个机构他会去审查，会 review 这个银行他所 submit 的那些文件是不是真的，是不是真的要做这件事情。OK， 如果大概有2年的审查期啦，所以我为什么会用这个也是根据那篇 paper， 但也是讲说，至少我们认为 SBTI 这个会是个比较 credible 的green commitment。那刚刚那个同学讲，如果其他地方银行它都可以 claim 啊，他在自己的 media 他都自己可以 claim 嘛，对吧？他在自己的任何一个地方，他都会说我这个银行我现在就做 green， 对。但是那是不是 credible 的这件事情是有问题的，而且说真的，你 point 的一个很好的东西就是一个点，就是我一直很想做的，就是 green washing， 就是他说他做 green， 他真的做 green 吗？不是，他只是 green washing， 都是假的，对。那至少啦，因为这件事情就是至少啦，在我这样的理解是 SBTI 是个比较 credible 的 bank green commitment 的一个证据，就是了。
那现在有多少银行是有 green commitment 通过？
现在蛮多的，这个
大概全球有多少家？
要看你是哪一种，像刚刚于老师你提到的这个 TCFD 嘛，我其实有这个图我没有秀出来，因为我刚开始一直 work on 在这里，其实这个 project 我是想很久的，在我脑中已经想待2年吧，然后真正开始做是1年半前开始做的。那个 TCFD 这个边已经大概在2019年、2020年100多家银行都已经有了。说他们要去揭露那个啦 ，climate related 的 financial disclosure， 那 UN environmental principle 有多少银行加入？应该很多了。
对，那个台湾现在也有很多家了。
有啊，像这个 SBTI 我们非常 shock 的是看到富邦银行啊，在2011年就加入了。
对啊，我刚才有看到你的 data。
对啊，可是因为我们现在只能那个 trademark data 真的很麻烦的，对。真的很恐怖的，对，不是想象中你们可能没有想象到的，那是很惊人的，对呀，所以不容易啦。你一定要做到很好不容易。那因为我们那个 trademark 的 data 也不是那个 owner 也是要自己去对的。那我们现在只有限制到2017年，我们现在 work on 想要到2020年，因为其实这个 green awareness 更是重要，是在最近这3年的事情呀。所以我们的 trademark data 现在也是有限制，所以我一开始是还想要再 expand 到更多的，所以我们做 SBTI 也是有关系啦。就是第一个我是真的相信它是比较 credible 的commitment， 再来就是说因为它的 shock 其实在2015年刚好满足我们 data 是可以 test 的呀。但是现在
可是就是你的这个你是因为这个Deal Scan 的 data 限制嘛，不然为什么不做长一点？因为你都已经抓到2021年的 trademark 了，为什么还做这么短？
是因为 trademark 的 data 还要去对compute state，
所以是因为受限于 compute state 容易啊，那个一抓就有了。
没有要对名字公司。
我跟你讲，用 Capital IQ， 它那可以帮你抓。
因为那个公司名字真的很烦，因为那里面还有一些什么 subsidiary 啊、子公司啊，中间一大堆事情的。其实不容易，因为这个 trademark data 本来就是许博轩老师有的嘛，那他们本来就是 work on 到2017年，那我们现在就是想说要做到2020，因为我们一直在讨论说，如果我们要把这个 project 做到这不会是自始其中一个，而且这个老实说啦，于老师这件事情，这个 project 可能是死掉的，就是我就先 honest 的说好了，我虽然花了很多时间，而且这是我想做的，我想做 bank 的 effect 嘛，是我一直喜欢做的领域。那只要是结果不到我们觉得能够发到很好的，没办法发到 top journal 的话，我们就可能会把它丢了啦。对啊，就是这样。对， 所以为什么从9月到现在，这一来是我真的也是非常的忙，然后再来就是说这个现在有点 stop， 可是你刚刚的建议都很好，真的。我因为这个 talk， 我就又早上开始这边看，然后对，所以我今天是可能讲的没有那么的流利，对啊，因为有一阵子没有看它了，对啊，但是我会再想想看，我觉得你今天很多建议都很棒，对，
对啊，这个
那学
paper
生
丢掉太可惜了，一定要让
我已经丢掉好几
它
个 project 了，我都
对
快死掉
啊，
了。
这个
我觉得
data
这个应该
data
是这个 question， 对 data 是很辛苦啦。我第一次弄一个
嗯
data 这么辛苦，但这个 question 是我一直很想问的，因为我一直都喜欢做银行对于 real economy 的影响嘛。那我自己也很关心 climate change 嘛。我希望我可以做到一个什么样，就像现在至少这个 result 是至少是 good news 啦，就是说如果3号用什么样的方式，或是跑 from the government 或是 from anywhere， 我就问就是 green pressure to the bank to increase their green awareness， 对吧？或是 green commitment。那 as a result， 他们就是有办法在这个 market 的机制之下，就是去增加那个去 foster 那个 green innovation。那就像我一开始提过的 green transition 这件事情，我觉得相当重要，就是为了要达到 green transition 这件事情，要有 green innovation、green technology 这件事情是很重要的，对。所以我说我至少觉得在目前为止的 empirical evidence to show that， 我们如果可以给银行更多的这种不知道什么样的，不管是 green pressure 也好，或者什么样的方式，或者 government 的 regulation 也好，去增加 green bank 的 green awareness， 因为他们是 major funding provider， 对。我至少觉得是这样，所以我自己是真的很想把这个 project 完成的，因为这是我一直都这10年来一直做的领域啦，所以所以一直觉得它是可以做的，而且我觉得很重要的医学，
对，
所以希望
这个 paper 很好，希望你能够起死回生。
对对对，就是要做到，就是你其实刚刚就不好意思讲说，于老师都发现我们都后面那个都乱做，不是乱做啦，就那个图真的很痛苦，那个 table。你说你的 topic 要很好，然后 data 又做得很辛苦，对不对？不过你刚刚 point 到一个我觉得很重要，因为我现在实在太 focus on first level 的 result。不过我觉得应该 first level result 有这么对啊，我要想想看啊，对啊，就是我可以用你的 industry level 啊，或者是什么的或者是 group level 的，我觉得这个可能蛮有趣的，因为这个实在太弱了，然后这个图真的是我刚刚都不知道快死掉了，就是但是那个于老师提到一件我觉得蛮有趣的事情，就是这个是真的很 robust 的，我怎么做都非常 robust 的。
对，因为也有一篇 paper 他有写到这个。
对对对，这件事情蛮 interesting 的，对吧？
Yeah， 对
啊，对。
那篇 paper 他也是做出来，也是跟你的结果是很像。
这个是我怎么做都是很 OK 的。然后其实你刚刚也 point out，我现在讲中文可能就比较快，对，就是那个 Capstack 跟 Pedro 那一篇，他们其实是用到2017、2018年啦。那他其实是
2021年那一篇是吧？
对对对，他们应该快发了。那个 Martin 那个 Capstack 他就是做这方面的，做好几年了嘛。他现在要变那个 ROF 的 editor 了，1月开始。whatever， 他跟那个 Patrick Bolton 一直在做，Patrick Bolton 一直在做这样的东西啊。他们好几篇都发了嘛，都发 top， 他很强。对，whatever。我当时就是觉得那边没有这样的重要。那他们是做 international 的 study， 他们没有做 green innovation 就是了。但我要讲的事情是因为其实它的 period 是比较长的，像你讲的，对，像你提到的，对对对，其实你 point out 它是比较长期的，我们也做了，我也做了，所以后面那几个 wave 啊，我刚刚说我们其实 focus on the first wave 嘛，那当然我也觉得说，就是在 second wave 有其他的 noise 会加进来，你怎么会说它一定是 green 嘛？那如果我们 focus on first wave 是比较 clean 的 evidence， 这是我也同意的。那不管怎么样，到后面那几个，我想想看哦。我为什么后来我们只能 present 这个 result， 就先跟你老实的讲好了，就是因为我先讲的是说，如果我们 include 更长的期间，就区间拉长，不是只有这个 7 period，7 quarter， 我记得我拉到大概有10 quarter 或12 quarters 的这种的 period 做这个 test， 这个是完全不会动的。非常神奇的事情是我不管 include 多少，后面那几个 bank 加来的那个什么的那个 green commitment 的 wave 一直加都是一样的。这张图就是 bank debt 的确是就是 bank 的确是 reallocate the fund from brown fund to green fund， 这是确定。但是我们做不出来是后面这个啦，就是我们很想做的就是希望看到 either 它是不管是正还是负都可以，因为我们的 argument 其实是 theoretically 来说，没有人说就是银行它做了 green commitment。那个 被 affected 的 firm， 不管是 high emission 或是 low emission， 就像你提到的，其实他到底会怎么做是不知道的，对吧？到底有没有影响，其实是不知道的啦。但是我们要看看影响啊，不管你是正的影响还是反的影响，都可以随便，都完全没有影响，这真的很难说的，这真的卖不出去了。就是一个 academic 的角度来说的话，这个没有什么结论，对，因为别人也做了，就像你讲，别的 paper 也提到了嘛，只要是 bank commit real， 只能说它是 maybe 不是 greenwashing，但是那篇 paper 其实是说它是 greenwashing， 就是他那篇 paper 它的 outcome variable 就是第一个，它跟我们做的是一样的，就是把 bank debt 就是一个 validation， 说那个 shock 是不是 relevant， 对，的确是 relevant， 他也做是 relevant， 但他们看的那个另外，他不是看 green innovation， 他看的 outcome variable 其实是 the real the carbon emission， 他们那个出 cost 的 data 就是真的去 quantify， 真的有那个 data 那个 information 是 for the firm level 的那个 carbon emission 的量，所以他们发现的结果是好像没有很大的影响，所以他们的没有很大的就是 weak evidence， 然后就说他们是一个什么说银行其实是 greenwashing，yeah，
非常好的文章。婉倩呢，谢谢，非常感谢。
谢谢你们，对，谢谢你给我这个机会，我又开始回到我这个刚好每次都因为这样，所以更会去思考，对不对？有一个 talk 是比较好的，对，谢谢你。
对啊，非常好的演讲，也给我们带来很多的想法哈。因为我们现在研究生也都在做这相关的这些 topic， 对啊，比较趋势化的，对，很时尚。那谢谢婉倩有这么多的资讯啊，有这么好的研究品质跟想法。那今天非常谢谢婉倩，我们很快还会再邀请你来报告你另外一个 project， 所以你要早点准备。
对，然后我要赶快把这一件事情，对，做更多一点，做更完整一点，对，不让它死，不让它死。对
，OK，Project 2， 我们下个学期再请婉倩过来。
好，
那婉倩非常感谢婉倩，那今天很谢谢你，好做这么好的演讲。好，那我们
谢谢你们，
继续保持联络。
好，谢谢你们，谢谢
拜拜。
老师，对，谢谢你们，拜拜，
谢谢。